Please note that the following views and the opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily the views nor the opinions of the Master Force Group, YouTube.com, Free America Radio Network, our sponsors, our partners, NMFG is a private society, and nothing here is ever to be construed as hate, medical, nor legal advice. And listen to the Forbidden History prime time 7 days a week right here on the RealPublicRadio.net, because hidden beneath the sands of time lies the greatest of all mysteries. It's the Forbidden History. Unearth for yourself the secret truths that lie hidden just beneath the surface below our feet. What is it that the powers that be do not want you or I to know? Come and journey with us as we explore and dare to know, because it's all right here, coming your way 7 days a week on the RealPublicRadio.net, Free America Radio Network. It's what they didn't want you to know that we tell right here. Stand by for the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen, and there's still time to call a friend. Please do.
Okay, welcome to Ask Dezert-Owl on the Forbidden History series. It's good to be back. I'd like to welcome any new listeners to the program. Sit back and enjoy hearing something you have not heard before. And welcome back to everybody else, the Owl family. I just want to say g'day to Anna. It's good to see you here during the week. Okay, this is a live call-in program. We encourage live callers with questions, comments, anything. Desert is very easy to talk to, and we welcome the interaction. The phone number is 608-566-7295. That's 608-566-72 7295. I will put it in the chat. If you're calling international with a fantastic phone plan like I do, I get on mine I get a bonus. I get free international calls. Just put a plus excuse me, I have no voice. Just put a +1 at the start. Again, that's 608-566-7295. Or you can call in on Skype, which is free. Just call NinjaCat, all one word, that's NinjaCat. And look for the white circle with a purple NinjaCat with a sword in it. Okay, if you have a question for Desert and you don't want to call in live, you're welcome to put it in the chat. We just ask that you type Desert's name with a Z in capital letters and the word question in capital letters, just so that we can see it. If it gets missed, just put the question in there again. Also, I would like to bring up the emoji situation, which is everyone's been really good actually. But for any of you that don't know, too many emojis seem to prolong the processing after the program is done. We've had that happen in the past. It's taken up to 2 days just for the chat to process. So we ask no more than 3 emojis per comment. Yeah, I know I love putting lots of hearts and things too, but yeah, try and control your emoji use. But 3 per comment seems to be okay. We've had no issues so far. Okay, welcome Rhett. G'day, it's good to see you here. And let's get into it. Oh, one more thing. If you get booted from the program, at the moment it's running fine. Everything is good on this end. The past few programs, people have been getting kicked off. It's been looking like the program has ended. Just if you're on a computer, just refresh. If you're on the phone, just find your way back to the channel page and go back in. You have to basically close it all and go back in because we're still there. Okay. In essence, Desert discusses the history of the world and how the unseen hand has been running it from the very beginning of recorded history, who they are and how they have founded all of the first great civilizations that are found all around the world, about who the giants really were and the ancient Aryan caste and slave systems, the priesthoods, the anti-gravity V-manners, the Earth-based misnomered UFOs, which are all man-made, the control of all forms of communications, commerce, religion, mass media, pseudo-politics, etc. It is the grand deception that is used to control all of mankind, and all instituted through the 4 main religions of the world in particular, and used as their grand cover. Their cybercode has been revealed to him because he has become adept within the study of the ancient alphabets, communications, symbolism, religion, custom, law, cosmology, and mythology, not to mention the fallacy of today's political science and pseudoscience in particular. He can also define the true nature of their warfare, their shell game of bringing one civilization up for their temporary use and then taking it down for the next 500-year generational cycle, as symbolized by the classical burning up of the phoenix. Desert discusses the ultimate in mind control and ancient art and the financial control, the secret societies and their blood occult rituals, and how they wage all wars throughout all time through the nations that they have created, which are all imaginations, plantations, and mere corporations. They have taken blood oaths to surrender their self, will, and mind to their blind goddess, who has demanded our blood from the very beginning of time. They communicate to their minions through the movies, TV, print media, and religion, while he can see, read, and interpret most all of it based on the ancient communication and symbol. It all says that they are using us for our ingenuity, for our collective constructive labour, for experimentation, and in the end they intend to kill us all. They have given us full notice of what they are doing and what they fully intend to do, while all of the general population, the sheeple, they merely go there to be entertained. The New World Order is the Old World Order from the very beginning of recorded history. There is a major cosmic natural disaster that is about to happen on Earth, and they know it because they have engineered all of it, while they are cleverly leaving us in the dark, hence the reason that they have built hundreds of underground bases all around the world, while they are leaving all of the people to remain unprepared, uninformed, and above ground, so that when it all comes, the mere 5% who will survive above ground will die from the weaknesses and disease that has been generated from all of the poisons that they have been feeding us, from the chemical aerosol spraying of our sky, to fluoride in the water, to tainted vaccines, to fake food, etc., etc. They have enslaved us all at birth by the clever means of deception, because we most all are their cattle, chattel, property, and because they merely wanted to harness our labour, what they always needed, which is what backs most of the world's currency through the birth certificate, a Wall Street security. But they are all through with us now, as it is written in stone, as it can be seen, written in the Georgia Guidestones. It says, "We are a virus upon the earth. To know the truth is to be empowered and to be prepared. We may not be able to stop what has been done and what is about to happen, but the innocent and decent people on planet Earth deserve to know." And now, here's Desert-Owl.
And welcome to the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen, friends, and those listening on in the future. Want to say we've been going through a technical issue that we're really testing tonight to see how things go. We've looked at one potential audio system for doing the broadcast and being able to take calls. So we just didn't do it the last couple nights because we're trying to work out our technical bugs, okay, because we want to be on every night except for Fridays here in the US. And so we're doing it. Ninja wasn't feeling very good, and I just been dealing with these issues. So when we lose our rhythm, it just we lose our rhythm. That's all I can say. But anyway, we're here. I've got a lot of material that's been piling up, and so I'm trying to figure out what I can't do, and I know I'll end up doing more of this read probably on one more broadcast because I've got too many notes down in front of me and a couple books. So I'm going to do that. First of all, Anna and Ninja had follow-up, so I'm going to do Anna first because it's going to move up on the board if I don't do it now. So, okay, so Anna said, yes, I asked about Yahshuah's word about knowing the false prophets by their fruit. How do you comprehend that? Zul of Haim, and you got the spelling a little off, but you're doing it. That's really cool, Anna, that you're going from Elohim to Zul of Haim. You've been listening, obviously. It's Lovhm, and it could be LOVA. Those are the two prime vowels. Well, the A is actually a consonant, so it's still a silent. Love. So Zulafhaim, HAYLOVA, HAYM. No I. I is the blind. I is the symbol of Lucifer. And hey there, Kev, good to have you as well. And so Zulahim can talk by so many sources, right? Well, even those, even the false ones, he uses, to realize that the darkness is speaking. We come to the light by being in the darkness. That's where we start out. Darkness, ignorance, emptiness, and we start to fill ourselves through the process, and then we see the light shining and we move towards it. But it starts in the lower nature. That's why we have to become the second born, what is also called the born again, but it's more correctly the second born. And you see that in the old stories, that it was always the second born, okay? Always the second born. And so that was chosen, okay? That was chosen. So Anna, in simple terms, knowing a tree by its fruit, well, we know that fruit is action. It means by what they do, not by what they say. That's how you know the fruit, by what they do. So the essence of what Yahshuah was teaching us is to live a pure life. And so if the people, the fruit that they bring forth is, contrary to honesty and decency, and the things that would, not, that would trigger question, to trigger question, and to then say, okay, because Yahshuah came to set us free. It says free from sin, but sin is an abstract code that they put over the true word, which would be in blindness. Okay, to set us free from blindness, right? So once we can see something we've been doing is wrong, then obviously we can stop doing it. So, but if we're blind, then we can't, and that's what that letter I represents, the blind. That's a story for another day, but just the footnote on that. So, okay, so tree by its fruit. That's why when it said there was fruit in the garden, and it said that, didn't, then Adam is saying to KOBO, didn't Yahweh say that we could eat? He said, eat any fruit. Didn't Yahweh say that we can do anything that we want? She said, oh yeah, we can do anything we want, but there's one thing we cannot do. You see, but she used the fruit. But there was one fruit we cannot eat. That's the original thought. You see, the original thought is based on a symbol, based on an image, but when we convey it into our modern, it has to do with action. Isn't there the fruit of our labor, right? We talk about the fruit of our labor. What we do brings forth fruit. So it wasn't a literal fruit on a tree, but it was doing something that they were not supposed to be doing, which was partaking of the carnal knowledge, the self-awareness and sensuality. The sensuality, which is stems into the lower nature, what could also be called animal nature, and now we get the spinning wheel again. Okay, it stopped. Yeah, and make sure out there, if you hear any audio problem, to let us know right away, to pause. If it seems like there's going to be a disruption in the thought, I'd rather hold back, and then start talking for a minute, and then none of it got picked up. But we're hoping we're going to be able to plow through here today. We know it's YouTube, and YouTube doesn't like anybody. Really, they just they'll take your money, and then they're going to run, and they're going to hope you're dead, because that's the way it is in this world, ladies and gentlemen. We got some stuff to share with you. So Anna, did that help you out? I hope that put it in perspective, right? That a star navigator, which is the original word for prophet, speaks truth, and he doesn't engage in the false narratives, or as it says in 1 John 2:27, but the anointing that you have received of him abides in you, and you need not that anyone teach you, because the same anointing teaches you about all things, and it is truth, and it is not a part of any lie, not a part of any lie. Therefore, even as it teaches you, you will remain in it. Okay, so the anointing is truth. People talk about the anointing. Well, bring your anointing, or we're going to get anointed. And all they talk about the anointing with ever associating with its real meaning. and it is being able to speak truth and to know truth. That's it. Okay? One thing it means. Don't bring a little anointing with you, to just use it like a stupid, colloquial ism. It means something, and it's the ability. You're anointed. It's the oil, olive oil, that the olive oil lit the lamp, the olive oil of truth, right? There were 5 virgins that had lamps. They were wise, and the other didn't have oil in their lamps. So 5 were wise; they had oil in their lamps. The other 5 virgins, they claimed to be virgins, didn't have oil in their lamps, which meant that they didn't have truth in their lamps. So they couldn't be lit on fire. You see? Simple. Well, it's not so simple because people can't read. So they read these parables all the time and they never get the picture. So there's a marriage. They're waiting for the marriage. And so when the bridegroom comes, the ones that had truth are ready for him, but the ones that are still bought into the proverbial lies, well, they're not ready for him. They're speaking falsehood. They're the false teachers, and it's not to take away from a lot of them that they're sincere. This is the great irony, that there's a lot of sincere people that are speaking things that are not true because they have not woke up and they are still blind. This is the great enigma. This is the great dilemma. And even there's a scripture that says that even if somebody wanted to know him, they could not know him unless he was willing to reveal himself to them. You see? So the people that are on the treadmill and the merry-go-round, preaching and all this, said they don't know him. They claim him, but they don't know him. But if he were revealed to them, then they would stop doing the things that are contrary that they're doing, and they would speak truth because they would have the anointing. Okay, so yes, the forbidden fruit was sensual. Yeah, that was the forbidden fruit. It was the thing that if they did, what did he say? Zulafhaim, the great Zulafhaim, or Yahweh through the great Zulafhaim, said to them, if you do this thing, you will die. Right? If you do this thing. So when they became creators and the life force went through them, then they realized that they were naked. You see, they woke up to a dilemma that they had never experienced, and they saw that they were naked because of the sensuality that had occurred, and then they covered themselves. They're now hiding, what now is a problem for them. They realize there's something going on here, and because Adam knew he was the Naga, he was the serpent, the flesh was the serpent, and so what's the very next thing that happens in the story? They had a baby. His name was Cain. Right next verse, the next verse. So people aren't getting it because they're not deep reading deeply. The words have been changed, and the scriptures have been shuffled. So the whole story is hard to grab when it has not been spelled out correctly for you. You see, just like there's 2 gardens. Whoa! When I saw that for the first time, it was only like 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago, and all these years of reading, and then I said, wait a minute! It said he took Adam out of Eden and placed him in a garden. In the garden. So okay, then you got a upper garden, lower garden. So if the upper garden is above, what's above? It's the light, the Garden of Adams, not Eden. It's a code word for atoms. Okay, so sorry, moo spelling. That's a pretty good one, Annie. You're apologizing with another. That's all right. I get ya. Okay, so I hope that answered. I covered enough ground with that for you. Does that get it? It's about being a star navigator. There's no profit to be made. So anybody calling himself a prophet is still under the spell because they don't know how to spell. They don't know the original thought. They got stuck in Hebrew and into the Hebrew and the Greek, and they can't get past what's controlled by priesthoods. You see, it's the game. It's the greatest show on earth, and people don't get it. So Okay, so let's get on with Ninja. I can't, I haven't been talking for the last few days. I'm already feeling it. Jeez, I don't know how I'm going to get through all this. I'm getting embarrassed that it's taken 20 programs just to get through the final hours, because I get on a roll when we start talking about other things, and I don't get to the reading. But that's okay, because everything I'm bringing on here, it's all relevant. So we'll eventually get to the other one. And by the way, you can get the final hours. It is up on Amazon, so it's not like you got to wait on me. If you want to get a copy of the final hours of Yahshuah, 37 chapters out of the original gospel, okay, based on original thought, with the Indo-Germanic influence and the footnotes in the margin to help you out. It's on Amazon, and if you cannot afford the book on Amazon, I think it's 1998. Then just we can get it to you on PDF, okay? Any size donation, and if you don't have the funny money, we'll get it to you anyway. Just let us know, and we can shoot it to you by email, okay? So that's just to get it. You just want to have it, ladies and gentlemen. You want to have, we need to hear and see and read things we've not read before, because actually the word read in the original thought, because it's two words, read, and in my Indo-Germanic dictionary by Shipley out of the 1800s, he actually said in there that read is a re-add, and he says in fact it means to re-add the riddle. Re-add the riddle. Okay, Anna, good, glad to help you, and thank you for the flowers. Keep them questions coming. I'm happy to entertain them, but hold back for now, because I got an agenda I'm trying to get through. I want to get through a few words, and I got a few introductory readings, and then I'm going to try to get to the main one, but I'll open it back up for questions at the point when we're ready for them. So just write it down on a piece of paper, okay? And then you can shoot it as soon as we're ready here. So that'll save everybody the trouble. Great, Kev. I appreciate that. Kev is he's an amazing character over there in UK. He's really toughing it out, and he's just got the best attitude, and he's just giving thanks for all things, and he's soaking up the shultres, the scriptures. I got him a copy of the Star Message of Enlightenment, which is also the gospel of peace of Jesus the Christ, first translated out of the Austrian library by Zeke. And he read that thing like in just a few hours. I couldn't get over it. So and I knew it would be good for him. It was right. Okay. The question is: sensuality any feeling in this domain related to the body? Well, sensuality could also mean seeing or smelling or tasting or touching, or sexual appetite or drive. All of those things are senses, sensuality. Okay, the serpent is a sensual creature. It's an animal, and therefore it's on the hunt. Yeah, I want some more food. All right, I want another one of these, another one of those. Okay, I want another automobile. I want this. I want that. Blah blah blah. The animal, that serpent. He's never happy. Always wants more. Oh, like the Masons. Morals and dogma. They want more. They want it all. And they want that dogma. I love that dogma. Yes, master. Worshipful master. I want to worship you. You're a scumbag, but I'm supposed to worship you because you're the worshipful master. Give me a break. Give me a break. They set up a guy as a worshipful master when he's engaged in larceny and every crime on the planet, and deceiving mankind, and now participating in a genocide program for the Jewish bankers and the Vatican. Worshipful master, huh? Oh, we're going to define who the demons are in a little bit. Okay, Lilith. Okay, for Ninja. It's because what got me going, I took note of the fact when I read the definition the first time, it said that there was like a battle going on because Eve was not Adam's equal, and or the implication was that she was supposed to be his equal. But I got to read it now because it's been a few days. But I got it when I reread it a couple of days ago, that is talking in metaphor. And so take note that it's written by Ginsburg, who is a Jew, out of the book The Legends of the Jews. Okay, and so these people are proverbial liars, and so that's the first thing we note is when we're reading anything by the Jewish Kabbalists or the Jews in general, unless they've been proven to be decent people, because in the occultic they are liars and they are murderers, and so and they also painted themselves as to be the world victims at the same time. Yet they control the news media, they control the internet. The Jewish Bill Gates and his family had also controlled family planning. What's that called? Where they abort children. I can't remember at the moment, but you know what I'm saying. And they control the everything. They control it all. Music, entertainment, from Broadway to Hollywood and around the world. They print the money. They own the politicians. They fund both sides of the war, right? And they're the victims. They're the poor, misunderstood people, right? I'm sick of it. Actually, I could tell stories. Okay, I could tell you stories. I'm not going to do that. All right. So Lilith, Ninja, a few days ago wanted me to define Lilith, and I got it out of the Oxford Dictionary on World Religions. So I'll read it again, and I'll stop when it's time. So a female demon in Jewish mythology. Okay, so right there you see demon means the moon. We're talking occultism, and the moon represents the occult. Unlike the sun, they claim to be light bearers, but they are in the darkness. So demon is the moon, literally. Okay, so a female demon in Jewish mythology, Isaiah lists Lilith among the beasts of prey, which will devastate the land. Well, gee, that sounds like the people that are coming to stab you right now, doesn't it? That they are beasts of prey, which will devastate the land. Didn't they already devastate the land? Did anybody see Dane Wigington today on his 30-minute Q&A, or did you see him on Saturday when his 1-hour program, how they have destroyed the world? And you notice how Dane says it. He says that Ninja just lost YouTube. I'm still going. Reboot. Ninja, just reboot. I'm going. Anybody else out there have a problem?
I've still got it on my phone. But,
okay. It's still going. So let's keep rolling.
Okay.
All right. So, still going. Kev says it's still going. So the beasts of prey, which will devastate the land. So Dane, he says, who's responsible when the people keep asking the question? Those who print the money. Well, who prints the money? Oh, the Rockefeller Jewish banking cartel, right? Federal Reserve, nothing there, no reserves, just an illusion. Rockefeller Jewish banking. Okay, the ones that hate our guts, that follow the Babylonian Talmud, and said it's not murder to kill us, and that they want, that it's okay to rape 3-year-old children, like that. According to the Midrash, Lilith was the first Eve. Okay, so that could be then, in a metaphor, that would be referring to the darkness, who disputed with Adam, the battle between light and darkness. See, that's what it is. And because she was unwilling to forego her equality. Okay, so there's the two columns. One's male, one's female. One's sun, one's moon. And there is no equality, because that's why in the symbolism of creation, man is bigger and stronger than the woman. You see, the woman is smaller, has smaller muscle mass, not as strong as the man. And it's because there is not an equality. We are symbols. And the man is symbolic of the spirit of life, which is endless energy reserve, like the sun. And then the moon is that softer light, like the woman, you see. And you can look at it and, oh, very beautiful, but you cannot even look at the sun. You can't look at it. You'll be burned. You know, your eyes will start watering and you won't see for 5 minutes. You see, so it's all based on metaphor, and in the Zohar, she is described as Lilith, the harlot. Well, now we get the picture, don't we? The harlot, the whore, is the beast system, and it is the Vatican. It is the Jesuits. It is the Jewish Jesuits, Adam Weishaupt, and who's the other? I get don't spend a lot of time on these people, you know what I mean? But Adam Weishaupt and the crew, it's founded by Jews. Okay, so the Jesuits are founded by Jews. Then right under the Jesuits is the Jewish Kabbalism, okay, where they want to control all narrative of scriptural thought, even though they're mother sons of darkness. That's what Masonic means, mother sons of darkness. And so then under them are just the Stoops and the Poop Masons who don't know anything, and they in the end betray them, put them on the front line, shoot them, put them on in front of a train, whatever, and spit them out. The ever flipping coin. You never know which way it's going to land. You could have been just like the Mossad took down the 3,000 people in the World Trade Center, ladies and gentlemen, with the Bush Skull and Bones cartel. Okay, you don't know that. You don't know that they were had nothing to do with thermite. They put a little thermite in the building. You see a little metal melting, and they make that the whole issue. You see, it's a great diversion. But as it was pointed out by Dmitry Kozlov, that there was a tunnel from the building 7 to each of the basements of the Twin Towers down below, underground. We're talking like 50 feet below the basement, 50 feet underground, and the tunnels had a rail system, and they let a rail car go from building 7 all the way under each of the towers, and on the rail train that went underneath the buildings was a 15 megaton thermal hydrogen nuclear bomb. Okay, and this was how the plan was to take the buildings down in an emergency. As Sears Tower has the same design, that's why the Sears Tower was evacuated. How come that was the only building in America that was evacuated in another city? It's because it was designed exactly the same way with the same method for taking it down. And that's why the outer casing was the steel structure, not normal girders the way old buildings were, but they created a chimney with an outer 5-inch thick steel, 2 layers of 2.5-inch steel, all the way wrapped around the building, joist to a center core column, and there were no beams inside the whole office area. There was no center beams because it was all joist from the outer structure to the inner column, and so it created the chimney. And when that atomic blast went off, it went right up the chimney, and then by the time it got to the top, everything started to disintegrate and fell down as a dust cloud. Because if you had a building collapse on itself, you'd have 30 stories of rubble after a 110-story building collapse. But there was not 30 stories of rubble. There was a half a story of rubble. Where did the building go? Turn into dust. That's an atomic thermonuclear hydrogen bomb. Okay? And so they want you diverted and not know the real story. But Dmitry gave a 5-hour presentation on it. Go look up the third truth. The third truth on YouTube, okay? It's there. Dmitry Kozlov. Try to spell it. All right. So anyway, the wicked, the false, and the black, and that's black in their heart. Okay, that's what it is. So Ninja, I hope that helped you out. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
All right. So they have to continually create fables. We can call them fables, and that way they control the narrative. Just like Betsy Ross made the American flag. She did not. That's a code. Betsy C is the first C. Betsy is the first. Bet is the first letter of the alphabet that gives the sound, even though it's really a V. The B is the code for the V, and it means the first C, and then Ross is rose. So the first C of the rose. Okay, so it goes into the Rosicrucian and all that, but it was the American flag is the Jesuit-owned Dutch Royal British West India Company, East India Company. It was flown on the high seas, running slaves, slave. Okay, running slaves, and you're the slave pledging allegiance to it. They got everyone to pledge. Look up the legal definition of pledge. Means you gave everything you ever owned and ever will own to the beast system, ladies and gentlemen. And after it, hi all, watch this on YouTube is the best truth you will ever hear. Understand the political scenario of India, Canada, Japan, China, USA, France, and so on. Search for this and have a good evening, or hi from Sweden. Okay, well, thank you, the After It. Appreciate that. And we'll have to check that out. So, okay, got that taken care of. So now I wanted to get into the terminology, the end times, okay? Because that terminology is being kicked around quite a bit. You know, they're trying to say that today is the end days. Well, when I read through my pseudepigrapha, 2 volumes over 60 books of the Old Covenant books that were left out of our scriptures, and there's like 5 other books by Ezra in there. I read, and it's been over 20 years. Okay, so I've got to go back and read all that again to find it. But I read clearly where it described in there the time when Yahshuah came. Okay, because everything was pointing to him. All the star navigators or prophets, all were pointing to him, that the end of time, the one would come who would set them free. They just didn't know free from what. They thought free from Rome. And but it was that they were going to be set free from the serpent, from themselves, right? The proverbial serpent from the garden, taken from the very first story. So I'm going to show you that the end times were 2,000 years ago. The last days were 2,000 years ago. What we're in today was called by Yahshuah the Gentile, at the end of the Gentile dispensation. So we're now being dispensed. We're in the dispensary and we're going down. This is the end of the Gentile dispensation, the time that we had to come to the knowledge of light and to be set free, transformed by spirit into Yahshuah. Okay, so let me, what got me going on this tonight is I was reading in that book, The Original Gospels, with the S, by Mark Dunday out of England, and he went to the oldest sources. I've been going back to this book over the last several programs, and he went to like the last 3 or the first 3 of the oldest copy of Scripture for Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John. Okay, so like Mark, it would have been 3 different Latin versions, because Mark was done in Latin. We find that when we read the book of Eusebius, the history of the church, and nobody ever gets that when they try to say that Mark wrote the first gospel and everybody else worked off of his. He was a teenager at the time, or an adolescent, and yet the 12 were too stupid to know how to write. So Mark comes along 30 years later and writes the first gospel. Give me a break if that isn't a bunch of hogwash, Of course, Matthew wrote the Hebrew gospel of Matthew because he was a disenchanted Levitical priest and rather be a good, honest tax collector. So he did tax collecting. And then when Yahshua came along, he wrote the epic Hebrew gospel of Matthew. And then it was translated into Aramaic for the common people. But then this, it's just amazing, the intellectual game that's been played on us. And because we don't ever know how to do the research or are not deep studies or don't have the time to do it because we're just trying to survive as good slaves, then we hear only the papal bull. That's all we ever hear, the papal bull, papal bull, papal bull, And so we're out there in bull land, and where the bull is looking at us with his bull's eye, and he's coming for us, And so anyway, I wanted to go into Mark because I was reading in there in one of the first versions. It has terminology that I don't remember reading, and so I went into Lamsa from the Aramaic to compare it. And I said, "Well, this is interesting." So in Mark, first chapter, verse 15, it says, well, I'll start 14 and lead into it. And after Yalganun, John was handed over to Herod, Yahshuah came to Galilee proclaiming the star message of enlightenment of the kingdom of the Yahweh, saying or breathing, because the times are fulfilled. Okay, the times are fulfilled, and the kingdom of the Yahweh has come near. Rebreathe with the breath of a star and follow the star message. Okay, not gospel, but the gospel is a code for star message. Evangelion is closer. It actually means star message. Okay, rebreathe with the breath of a star and follow the star message. That's what the message in the stars is all about. Bullinger wrote a book called The Message in the Stars. You're not familiar with it? Well, then you better get it. Okay, but what got me going here is because the times are fulfilled. That's what he says here in Mark. The times are fulfilled. Whoa. Okay, I guess about the promise, right? The promise of his coming. And so when it was said on the cross, it is finished. Are you getting the picture? So let's compare Lamsa now and see what it says in the same verse from the Aramaic that has been basically altered by the American publishing company because they wouldn't publish Lamsa's the way it was. Said, Lamsa, you let us fix yours up and we'll publish it, but not the way you did it because it tells too much truth, and we'll destroy the King James if people read it. So he gave him permission. But in spite of that, it says here in Lamsa, the time has come to an end. The time has come to an end. Okay, are you getting the picture? So now let's go to the back of, and it says then, for the kingdom of God is at hand. Well, if it's at hand, it's in hand. If it's at hand, it's in your hand. That's what it means. At hand, it's in your hand. So you got it. It's right now. And so that was 2,000 years ago. And so he says, rebreathe with the breath of a star and follow in the star message of enlightenment. So now let me go to Hebrews, because these two verses now support Hebrews chapter 9, verse 26. And so picking up where Hebrews is leaving off in verse 25. And if these things were not so, then he would have been obliged to suffer many times from the beginning of the world. But now at what? The end of the world. But now at the end of the world, only once by his sacrifice did he offer himself to put away blindness. It says sin, but sin is blindness. To put away blindness, have the blinders come off. Okay, so there it is, the two witnesses, and every truth has to be established with two witnesses, and there it is, Mark 1:15 and Hebrews 9:26, ladies and gentlemen. And so I just wanted to share that with you because we don't ever get it, and we're using, so you can see there now that was the end time. That was the end of the world. But the end of the world is / the end of an age. It was the end of something else. And what Yahshuah brought us was the ability to have truth and to see reason in the light that was denied the old world. Yahshuah introduced it to us, introduced us to the Father, because in the old world, they had a goddess called Elahe or Zulafhaim, and she is a goddess. She is the virgin light. That's what Mary represented. Then she brought forth what? The Father, the Son, and the Spirit, all three in one, all are one in the great mystery. Okay, so the end times. So we have to speak truth, and so the end times was 2,000 years ago, and the end of an age, and therefore the end of that world, and therefore everybody is officially dead unless they come to the light and are second born and rise from their death. Okay, they have to rise from their death. And I've got to get my vest on here. Getting cold. And so I just wanted to point that out because there's so much confusion. There's more confusion than clarity, I got to say, right? And now we're going to, I've was doing the transliteration today on the Gospel of the Silk Road, the Lost Gospel of the Silk Road. And I've got a couple more weeks on it yet. I will share a read from it probably when we jump to the Cosmic Essence on the first program. Not sure because it just depends upon what's on the table. Okay, but I want to show you real quick, and want to welcome any new listeners out there. I see people coming and going on the broadcast, and you're tuned in to Ask Desert Owl, and so we're going to open it up later on, and that gives me a chance to stop talking and to hear somebody else, and you can call in or you can put it in the chat. But anyway, what I want to do right now is I have a couple more supporting verses on the idea of the devil. Okay, who is the devil? Who, what, where, when, why, and how? And is it true? Is it and I'm going to have to get out. Oh, see, it's in Lamsa. The other one I want to get out is in Lamsa. So let me get that. Might as well get that set up right here. Okay, just to prove out. We're told to prove all things. Okay, I got that open. So let's see, where are we at here? He who, all right, so where do I want to start? If you would ask me, okay, this is out of the original gospel now, chapter 8. If you would ask me what to study, I would say study yourselves. And when you had well studied them, and then would ask me what to study next, I would reply, yourselves. He who knows well his lower self knows the illusions of this world and knows the things that pass away. And he who knows his higher self knows the Yahweh, who is the great soul of Haim, knows well the things that cannot pass away. Thrice endowed and enlightened is the Ashan man, who has made purity and love his very own, for he has been ransomed from the dark perils of the lower self and is himself the higher self. The word self is nafsha as well. Men seek salvation, soul novation, from a dark blindness that they deem a living monster of the nether world, of a lower world, in essence. And they have deities that are but demons, which is dark natures, dark manifestations in disguise, all very powerful, yet full of jealousy and hate and lust. Does that not sound like mankind? Because it is. Whose favors must be bought with costly sacrifices of fruits and the lives of birds and animals and even humankind. And yet these deities possess no ears to hear, no eyes to see. Now it's talking about idols and images that the man has created. The priesthood told us, you bow down and worship these. And yet these deities possess no ears to hear, no eyes to see, no heart to sympathize, no power to save. This blindness is a fallacy. These spirits are made of thin air and clothed with shadows of a thought that is false conceptions. The only devil, which originally was adversary, which was man, the only adversary from which men must be redeemed is self. Well, there's another man. Self. The lower self. If man would find his devil, then he must look within. His name is self. If man would find his savior, he must look within. And when the demonic self has been dethroned, the ego, the savior, love, will be exalted to the throne of power. The David of the light is purity, who slays the strong Goliath. That is the bitter non-truth. Goliath represents the bitter non-truth of the darkness and seats the Savior, the Shavor, the Eshavor. The word is Savior, same word. Love seats upon the throne. Okay, so that's one. It just reminded me I've got to open up my other document because I'm going to go there too on the Lost Silk Road Gospel. Let me open that up. Okay, so I got that. And go back down. Sorry about that. I wasn't prepared. I didn't want to leave off not reading that. That's going to be a follow-up right now. And let me open up my window again. Okay, love Windows. No, I don't. Not anymore, Bill Gates. Okay, so now we're going to turn the page. Okay, here we are. Okay, so let me take a sip of my drink, and want to welcome everybody. So grateful that you all stopped by, and hope you are telling a friend after you wanted to know, didn't you? You're still trying to figure Desert out, you know. Where'd this guy come from? How come he's talking about stuff nobody else is talking about? What's this Indo-Germanic stuff? Okay, and it makes sense, doesn't it, that they would create a stopping point on our investigation of what I call the original thought, and got everybody to think they're supposed to follow the Jews' Hebrew that came out of Babylon when they came back from exile. You know, that no, they wouldn't lie to us, would they? You know, they gave us the translation. The Jews who hate our guts gave us the Masoretic. There's Egypt. The Masoretic text. The Masoretes gave us the Masoretic text. The Jews who hate our guts follow the Babylonian Talmud, and they're going to give us a pure translation. You're going to take yours from the beast, right? You're going to take it from the beast and think, oh, the beast wouldn't lie to me. Oh, give me a break. Let me back up here. Okay, where do I want to start? Okay, and by the way, when I talk on these terms, okay, we're told to love our enemies, you know, so I don't hate anybody. They hate us. We're talking about the people that are coming for us, that played victim on the world stage while they're the mother sons of darkness and want to kill us, and they've told us. They especially tell us in the movies, you know, with all their subliminal messaging. I've got friends, actually, who are Jewish. I've made friends of people in the Illuminati that listened to me for a couple years and then called me up one day and told me stuff, you know. A lady in Ontario, Canada, a guy living in a church in Mississippi. You know, they're kind of like on the fringe of the Illuminati. They never made it into, you know, being total sellouts, and they just were like regular people that just knew too much, you know, that type of thing. Hey, Josh, good to have you on the broadcast. So, you know, so there's no hatred here. We're just talking facts. We're talking facts, and it's all an open secret. So there is no secret. Okay, nothing being revealed here. Only that we're just being honest about what's going on, and we're putting it all on the table. You know, what's being done to us by this group of people that play victim while they're the ones coming to kill us. You see, so yeah, it's a wonderful world, Mrs. Smith, Mr. Smith. Oh, that's Schmidt. Okay, Smith is the Schmidt. He's the one hammering on the anvil, the steel, and while they steal everything from us with the steel. Oh yeah, that's how that started in the beginning. They stole with the steel. So is it the sword or is it the action? That's the question. Okay, okay, let's see here. Okay, Yeshua's asking a question. I create light for you, honored masters. Tell me how, and this is chapter 39 now in the original gospel. I create light for you, honored masters. Tell me how that darkness can be born from that which is light. Okay, there's the question. Only it says good and evil. You see, it's a code word because the guy that was doing the translation, he's given part truth, but you got to be able to see and read it for yourself. You got to figure it out. You got to know how to read, and you got to know how to read the code because they're going to give you, you know, a version of it, but not the original. And good is based on the terminology of light. It's not good. Good is like milk toast. It's light. And evil is darkness. Of course, we know that evil is darkness, right? It's the veil, the veil over the eye. Eval. E is for the eye. Veil. What's covering the eye is the veil. That's dark. Then it creates darkness. So it's not good and evil. It's how can darkness be born from that which is light? And this is the key scripture right now because the next verse I'm going to go to out of the Lost Gospel of the Silk Road is going to answer that question in a big way. Okay, but he's going to answer it here too. And so the Magi rose up and said, if you will answer for me all of that question, all of your problems will be solved. All of our problems will be solved. And we all do recognize the fact that darkness is the problem. Let me just take a note here, okay? Is the problem. They abbreviate everything everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you got to see. See if you can see and read it for yourself and transliterate while you read. I started transliterating over 40 years ago, about 45 years ago, give or take. And, I just knew my books, weren't up to speed. And so I had to transliterate while I was reading 40, 50 years ago. And because I knew the bad words, and I was working on finding the original thought. Okay. So if Yahweh, okay, so we all recognize that the fact that darkness is the problem. Whatever is must have a cause. If the Yahweh, who is the great Zul of Haim, the one, did not make the darkness, which is the void, emptiness. They're the same thing. Darkness is emptiness. And people that are in darkness are empty and lonely, right? And sick of themselves. Then where is the Yahweh who did? And Yahshuah breathed. Whatever the Yahweh, the one, has made is light. And let me take a note here. L-Y-G-H-T. This is group session, okay? 101. And like the great first cause, the 7 winds are all perfect light. Okay, the 7 winds are the 7 spirits of 7 days of the week. Whenever you see the 7, it goes into the 7 planets, sun, earth, and moon. Well, actually, the earth's not included, but the other days of the week are the planets. Okay, and so that's the 7. And so now, like when it said that of Mary, Medecine, Miriam Medecine, the 7 dark natures were taken out of her. It's in reference to time, that she entered eternity in the sense of the day without end. Okay. So let me try that again. So, and Yahshuah breathed, whatever the Yahweh, the one, has made is perfect light. And like the first cause, the 7 winds are also perfect light. The creation, talking about those planets, and the clock, the giant cosmic clock, is perfect. And everything that comes from their creative hands is perfect. Now all things have colors, tones, and forms of their own, but certain tones, though pure light and pure by themselves, when mixed with other things, produce inharmonies, discordant tones, mixed with other things. Yeah, and there's a lot of incompleteness at times, and there's an old axiom: if it's being said, it must be said. And so that's the important part about going from an ancient to a modern. And it's not word for word, it's thought for thought, and a thought is based upon ideas, and they expand. And so certain things, though, okay, and I read that, yeah, okay. So well, let me try this here. And certain things, though perfect and pure, when mixed, produced disharmonious things, yes, poisonous things, that Ashan call the darkness of things. So blindness is the inharmonious blending, or darkness is the inharmonious blending of the colors, tones, or forms of light. That would be light creation, because everything came out of the light. There's nothing in the darkness. It's void. It's empty. Now, and that includes Ashan that are in darkness. Now, Ashan is not all wise, and yet he has his own will. He has the power, and he uses it to mix the Yahweh's light force in a multitude of ways. And every day he makes disharmonious sounds and blind, dark things. And every tone and form, be it of the light or of the darkness, becomes a living thing, like a demon that is a dark nature, or a sprite of phenomena, in other words, or a spirit of a light, or a vicious nature. Man, Ashan, makes the devil this way. Okay, here it goes. The man, Ashan, makes his devil this way, and he becomes afraid of him, and he flees. His devil is encased or emboldened by this, made powerful, and follows him everywhere, and casts him into tormenting fires of his own creation. The devil and the burning fires are both the works of who? Man. not Yahweh, not Elohim or the Zulufhaim, but the works of man. And none can put the fires out and dissipate the blind one, but Ashan, who made them both. Then Yahshuah stood aside, and not a magi, answered him, and he departed from the gathering and went into a secret place to create light. Okay, so that's out of the original gospel, and we have to realize that it said everything in the garden that was made was perfect. It was good. It was Yaltsar. Yaltsar is the power of a star that goes round. So everything was made from the light. And so after the light made all of creation, what does man do? He creates deceptions. He fell, right? He fell. He wanted that fruit. He wanted what he couldn't have, and he lied about it. Oh, hey, sweetheart, this isn't going to kill us. Don't worry about it. Everything will be all right. Just listen to me. And yeah, okay. And you know what happened? They died. They died, not physically. They died spiritually, right? They died spiritually. Okay, so now let's open up. And this was the last verse, the very last verse I did today in the transliteration out of the Lost Gospel of the Silk Road. Let's see here. It's chapter, just getting the site for you. Chapter 8, verse 17. And then we're going to go to a break after I finish. I got one more part of this, and then we'll go to a break because I want you to hear what Albert Pike says, and it really fits. I just saw this tonight on the quote. We put up that quote, and on that quote, it's the answer to this enigma that I'm talking about right now. Okay, so in verse 17, chapter 8 of the Lost Gospel of the Silk Road, out of Tibet, the eternal Asia fire is the nafshel. That is the self or the soul. Okay, the eternal Asia fire is the soul of everything that is alive. So you are acting blindly by dividing the one of the many into a spirit of darkness and that of light. See, Yahweh is darkness, Yahweh is light. No, since there is no other spirit but the spirit of light. Okay, only that's it. No other spirit but the spirit of light. So after the light gave man free will, guess what happened? He wanted to be the creator. He wanted to be the engineer. He wanted to do his own thing. And that's where the void and the darkness is manifested. But Yahweh didn't create that. Man created it, ladies and gentlemen. Get the picture. And what did Lucifer say, or excuse me, Albert Pike say on Lucifer, regarding Lucifer? It was on the quote at the beginning of this program. I didn't plan this. This just came like a ray of light. A mysterious Lucifer, the mysterious name given to the spirit of darkness. Albert Pike. Lucifer, that's a code because it's Lucifer. There is no woman that flies around with long hair and a dress and boobs, going through the air doing damage. There's no woman flying through the air. Okay? Lucy is an idea, and it is the code of the occult. That's their light of fire, the Lucy fire. Okay? Because they claim to be of the light, but they're of the darkness. So it's a lesser light, and actually it is no light. It's a reflection. It's a reflection of the light, but it is not the light. That's why the Vatican has all that imagery in there, and we learned about the story of Yahshuah through the Vatican culture, but then we came out of it. We learned about the truth through the corruption. It's a kind of a light, it's a type of a light, but it's not the real light. It's not the source. It's a lookalike, but it's not the one. Okay? So again, Lucifer, the mysterious name given to the spirit of darkness. Well, there you go. The spirit of darkness is emptiness. It's a void. There's nothing there. It's an illusion. Okay? And so let's real quick. I want to go into Isaiah just to back up now what has been said. Let's see if it's not true in Isaiah in Adolamsa, but it would be the same in the King James. Actually, there's a little difference. All of them are somewhat corrupted in a way that they could have been done better. But starting here in chapter 43, it's interesting. They say no man is an island, right? And then here in chapter 42, it says, and he will not fail nor be discouraged till he has set justice, that means focusing light, in the earth, and the islands will wait for his law. The islands, well, I guess that's people. So every man is an island. We're all separate, right? We all came into the world alone. We all leave alone, for the most part, right? And so we all have to, that's our moment of truth. I like that on the first quote, the moment of truth. You've been lying all your life, and now comes the moment of truth. The ego is gone, and now you're thinking about all the things you've done, you should have done, and it's a bitter pill to swallow. So he says, so there is no other spirit but the spirit of light. Okay, that came out of Tibet. And let's see what it says here in chapter 43 of Isaiah. And I'm just going down, like you skip verses because it's throughout like 3 chapters. And here it is. I even I am the Yahweh. And beside me, there is no other Lord. Lord. That would be sunrise. The metaphor would be no other sunrise. He is the sunrise, the Yahweh, who is the great soul of Haim. And he says, I have declared and I have saved, and I have proclaimed that there is no strange Yahweh, no strange God. It's saying literally God. No strange God, no devil, no demon, no Lucifer, okay, among you. No Satan. Satan is a corruption of serpent. It's all about the serpent, ladies and gentlemen, and you are the serpent, and you better see it. Therefore, you are my witnesses, says the Yahweh, that I alone am the great soul of Haim. Okay, let me go further. Skipping over to now chapter 44. I am the first, and I am the last, and beside me there is no other God. Now it says God here, but it would probably be Elohim or Zul of Haim, because Lord is Yahweh. Therefore, God would be Zul of Haim, meaning another light, like they claim the moon, right? There's the sun, there's the moon. There's your 2 columns. One is light, one is darkness. One looks very pretty, that Lucy in the sky with diamonds, the moon up in the sky with the stars, but it's not the light, okay? So I am the first, I am the last, that there is no one beside me. Now this is chapter 44, verse 8, that there is no God beside me, no other deity, in other words, is what that implies, deity, spirit, and no mighty one whom I do not know. The makers of images are all of them are vanity, and there is no profit in the works which they desire to make. The craftsmen, that's what they call themselves, the people of the craft. And literally it says right here, the craftsmen who make them are witnesses, for they cannot see, they cannot hear, nor can they reason. Therefore, let them be ashamed, those who make gods or graven and molten images or spirits. Okay, so going down further, then it talks about the Christmas tree, one cutting the tree. That's also in Jeremiah, I think, chapter 10, but here it's in Isaiah 44, 13 and 14. And so going on, continuing, let's see here. Okay, chapter 45, verse 6. I am the Yahweh, and there is no one else. I form light, and I create the darkness. Now remember, when it's talking about creating the darkness, it's creating the void of space. It's not saying that he created the corrupt men. Men had free choice, but he set the void. In other words, it's part of the great mystery. But before the light came, there was the darkness in the void, right? And it says that the Spirit moved upon the cosmic sea, and then the Spirit breathed into a star, and there is light. Not was light, is light, because it's still going on. You see, still going on, and that was the first thing made in the darkness. The light appeared, but those in darkness cannot comprehend the light, nor do they care to. And then going on in the next chapter 45, and there is no other God beside me, just a just God and a Savior. There is none beside me, no other, no one. Okay, so put two and two together, ladies and gentlemen, and know that we are being. They see the reason they create these false um, apparitions, Lucy and devil and demon, and is because they don't want us looking at the real problem. And the problem is who? Man, man, men, especially the men who wear dresses. The men who wear dresses are the priesthood. Men who wear dresses are wearing the kilts with argyles on them, the crossroads. The argyle, listen to the word in their dress. Argyle, meaning the power. R is power. Guile is for beguiling. The power of beguiling is in their dress because they are the woman. They became the woman. They became the Lucifer. And the body, the corporate body will never die because they will never die to their cause. They are the ones who keep it alive by blood, occult, covenant, oaths on the threat of murdering each other. That was the first oath that was taken by the ancient watchers who fell. They said, okay, there at Mount Hermon, the fallen ones said, okay, 200 of them said, okay, we're all going to take oaths right here. Any one of us betrayed the oath, he's dead. Okay, so they all took the covenant, the first covenant, Mount Hermon, the power, Harmon, the Armon, the power of the moon. There it is in the word. Mount Hermon is the power of the moon. Lucy, right there. You see, you got to know how to read, ladies and gentlemen, and it's all right in front of us, just waiting for us to pick it up and read it. But we've been conditioned, and we were told not to question anything and just, yes, Father. Oh, yes, Father. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. These are my sins. So let me get in the box. Tell you all my secrets. Oh, yeah. Isn't that a power trip, huh? Know all the secrets of everybody in the community? Talk about being able to set people up, huh? Yeah. All right, Ninja. We're gonna go to a break, and then we get back. We're gonna continue on here in the Great Odyssey called Planet Earth, and why am I here, and who am I, where am I, why, blah, 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 and we'll make sense of it, ladies and gentlemen. It's okay. I'm not crazy. They're crazy. You know it, right? They're psychopathic. They hate you. They hate. They have to hate you. Why? Because they're coming to kill you. You see, they have to justify killing you, and the way they justify it is say they hate you. Oh, you're not like them. They're better than you are. They're in a special little covenant and a little clique. They got their special Babylonian Talmud, in the mud. They love the dirt. They love being in the dirt. They relish in it. They drink dirt. It's because that's what they are. And you're tuned in right here to Ask Dezert-Owl on the Forbidden History series. It's what they didn't want you to know that we tell right here. Okay, I know they're coming for me. Right. But they're coming for you too, ladies and gentlemen. We got nothing to lose behind telling the truth because it's game over anyway. And we're out of here in nothing flat. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Okay, welcome back to Ask Dezert-Owl on the Forbidden History series. What you see in front of you are Desert's archived channels, which the links are in the description, so please subscribe and go back to June 21st on the Forbidden History series, and you can listen right from the start. Amazing live streams on both channels. We are currently broadcasting on the Cosmic Essence and Ask Dezert-Owl with NinjaCat. We're alternating between the two. So, and those links are, or the link to Cosmic Essence is also in the description, and you are on Ask Dezert-Owl with NinjaCat. Please subscribe and check the bell so that you don't miss out on notifications. And my screen just disappeared again. I'm just going to keep going. Okay, I can still see everything on my phone, so just let me know if anything disappears, guys. Okay, this is a caller-generated program. We encourage you to call in on air, live. The number is 608-566-7295. That's 608-566-7295. You're welcome to call in with questions, comments, just to say g'day. And any first-time caller will get a free handbook of Christianity, one of Desert's transliterations. You can find more of his books on Amazon. We're working on getting them up on other websites as well. Links are in the description. Just go to Amazon and type Dezert-Owl into the search bar and all the books come up. They are a beautiful collection. So please go there and check them out. If you can't afford to purchase the books, we do get that a lot of people are struggling, myself and Desert included. So people need this information. Just contact Desert on the side, and he will get them to you. We have all the PDFs versions of these books as well, and also any size donation, could be $1, could be 50 cents. Any size donation will get you a PDF of your choice as well. Also, you can Skype NinjaCat. I didn't mention that. You can Skype NinjaCat, all one word, as well, if you want to call in live. Just look for the white circle with the purple NinjaCat with the sword in it. Okay, back to you, Desert.
Thank you very much, Ninja. And yeah, okay, we're back at it, and I think Ninja had a question before we continue on. And okay, well, real quick, because the chat goes up, Ninja, let me just say to Kev here that ball, being it has two A's in there, the two A's is key, like the word Aaron has two A's, A-A-R-O-N. So you see very few words with two A's. Basically, it's ball and Aaron. I don't know of another exception out there. There could be, but these are, it's a code, and you've got to be able to read it. Remember, we talked about lexicography. The lexicographer reads the symbol. And so ba by itself means will, and al means everything, the will of everything. We just were talking about free will, how free will created all the illusions, not the reality, but they create a phony world, right? That's what they did with their free will, create a phony world. But so it's not pronounced ba-al, it's pronounced bal. So one of them is a consonant, the first letter of the alphabet. The A is a consonant, and then the points, they used to use the vowel points, or when they read it verbally, they didn't use vowel points. The original script didn't have vowels. They added the vowel sounds as they read it. So bal is pronouncing one letter and the other one is silent, showing the duality. The one that is silent represents the Yahweh, the great spirit of all life, all creation, and the one that is speaking is the false one. The false one is always speaking, and the silent one is just sitting back silently watching, waiting for someone when they're ready to receive the pure light. And so the falsehood is speaking on the planet, right? The false narrative, the false traditions, they're shouting, while it's in the great mystery, someone else is speaking and hoping that you get the message. So Baal, in its duality, as we see two balls up in the sky, we see the sun and moon. Well, they're both balls, right? We throw the ball in the game, and so the ball is round, and then we also see the bell, and the bell represents a woman, right? Because it looks like the bell looks like a woman's dress, so it's called, and so that's why the woman is called the bell at the ball, right? She's the one who's spinning around like the planets, the bell at the ball, and then at the end of the ball you get the bill, because the bill goes around. Everybody gets a bill, and they're trying to pass it to somebody else. The bill's going around, and then when you don't pay the bill, guess what? You're going to have to pay some bail, and you better get a bucket and start bailing because you're going down. Your ship is sinking. See, so anyway, that's basically it on that, Kev. That's just representing the, but of course, then we can go to just one more word. I'll type it in there, A-B-E-L, but it's really more like this, A-V-O-O-L, Avul, okay? And so just like, and Baal would be, there's no B, right? So it'd be V-O-O-L, Vul. So you see how now it's going back to the star. So Abel is Avul. He's the star owl. He's the one who can see in the night, right? Now, was he not the chosen, the preferred? His sacrifice was accepted. And why? So his brother was angry with him. What did he do? He killed him. He killed his brother because he was the star owl, the Avul. Okay, and not only that, but it means that he represents what was first, because it's AB, which is correctly AV, the first in the alphabet. Cain is the C, right? That's the third letter. And so that which is first comes last. And so Abel represents the type of Yahshuah, because Yahshuah is the first. And when did he come? I read it earlier. He came at the end of the world, right? At the end of the world, at the Great Tribulation, when they were under Roman occupation. Before that, it was Greek occupation. They've been nailed to crosses, tortured, thrown off cliffs. Everything happened to them. Enslaved, taxed, all, right? So the Avul is the first, the AB. So you got a lexicography, look at the letters, and it's telling you a story. Telling you a story. Cain came first, being born, but Abel represents the spirit, and so therefore the spirit was before all things. And that's the eternal rest. That's where we want to be, you see? So, but we had to go through the lower creation first. We have to die to this world, become the second born. Okay, so Ninja, you had a question?
Yes. Going back to when you were talking about the word demon, I saw something and I just wanted to run it by you to see if it is correct.
Okay.
Separating the word, the DE, separating that with the rest of the word, and making the O and A, we have D, man, and DE is Ed, reversed, ED, like ED. ED means remove man. So I saw two things in that. I saw they want to remove man from this earth, and because if they can't go back to the light, then neither can we, according to them. And also we need to remove the lower self, the darkness, the demon, which is man. Is that correct?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Got it. All right. Well, nothing needs to be said. All right. All right. Shall I get on with my program now?
Yeah.
She's been listening to me too long. She's now
I
got
feel
her
like,
own program going on here.
I feel like
I
feel like I'm coming back. I've felt separate like that I need to relearn all of this, and it comes back so quickly. It's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, when we got together an hour before the program, she was convincing me that we shouldn't do the program because the way she wasn't feeling good. She didn't sleep last night, and so I'm thinking, okay, I guess we're not going to do the program. And then she's telling me, no, we need to do the program, and so here we are.
Yay.
And, all right, so let's continue here. So this one book I read at the beginning of this series, Facts Are Facts, by this wonderful Jewish gentleman who came out of the occultic society, a wealthy businessman. And so I've got to, I just started reading the book today. I hadn't read it. I've read the 13th Tribe by Arthur Koestler and a couple times. And so that was all I needed to read. It's not like I need to read another one, but because this guy actually was an insider and came out, I thought, well, I need to read this. So I was going to read it by myself, but then I read the first part today. I said, no, I gotta read this to everybody. So I'm going to read just the first part out of here because it's a good history, and it's a history that may have passed most of you by, unless you're studying the alternative avenues of history. So here we go, or forbidden history. So here, and so he did a small introductory note. This Benjamin Friedman. It says at the top of the page, it says he speaks. A Jewish defector warns America. Okay, so going down, I like that name, Friedman. He was freed, set free. Okay, so here he says, here in the United States, the Zionists and their co-religionists have complete control of, remember, this is 1954, just want to put that in perspective. Here in the United States, the Zionists and their co-religionists have complete control of our government. Geez, that's 70 years ago. Have complete control of our government, if it is our government. Remember, we found out that the Jews founded America May 1st, 1776, the first official day of communism. The Jews celebrated taking over America even before they got the centralized bank going in 1776. So you think it was ever our nation? I don't think so. They gave us the July. 2 months later, then the 4th of July. It was a big lie by the Jews, and they got us all looking at fireworks and waving our slavery flag of the Dutch Royal British East India Trading Company, slavery, and nobody gets it. So it never was ours, it just never was. Okay, so continuing. For many reasons, too many and too complex to go into here at this time, the Zionists and their co-religionists rule these United States as though they were the absolute monarchs of this land. Absolutely. I mean, they are spitting in our face. They're running the news. The Jews run the news. And so nothing they say on there is at all worthy of your time, ladies and gentlemen. It's all deception, diversion, disinformation, propaganda, mind control, brainwashing, all of those things from the major networks. And so I only watch it like once a month just to see where they're at. That's all I can handle. It's all I can handle. That's why the alternative, we need to find alternative sources, because there are really fantastic researchers out there, like Deborah Travaris. By the way, they took her channel down last week or this past week. So go to Deborah, or I got my note here. Stop the Crime, all one word. Stop the Crime. That's her new YouTube channel. So please subscribe to help her out. Stop the Crime, and then support that work. Get her newsletter off her website, stopthecrime.net. Okay. So continuing here. Now you may say that is a very broad statement, but let me show you what happened while we were all asleep. Man, this guy's great. You see, here's a good Jew. I love that. Good, it creates a little balance, That's what we need. What happened? World War I broke out in the summer of 1914. There are a few people here my age who remember that. Now that war was waged on one side by Great Britain. Oh, Vatican Front. Can you say Vatican Front? And France and Russia. And on the other side by Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Turkey. All key players, all of them. Just a little war game, just a little war game. That's all it is. Within 2 years, Germany had won the war. Not only won it nominally, but won it actually. The German submarines, which were a surprise to the world, had swept the convoys from the Atlantic Ocean. Great Britain stood there without ammunition for her soldiers, with 1 week's food supply, and after that, starvation. At that time, the French army had mutinied. They had lost 600,000 of the of the flower of French youth, and in the defense of Verdun on the Somme. The Russian army was defecting. They were picking up their toys and going home. They didn't want to play war anymore. They didn't like the Tsar. That's the Romanov, Nikolai Romanov, the last Tsar of Russia. Before the Jewish commies came in. And the Italian army had also collapsed. Not a shot had been fired on German soil. Not one enemy soldier had crossed the border into Germany. Oh, by the way, remember, don't forget, Germany is code word for Khazarian Jew. Okay, don't get confused there, because the Jews were working with Hitler, and the Jews were the Jesuits, and they wrote Mein Kampf for Hitler. Hitler was a bastard child of the Rothschild Jewish banking family. Can you put 2 and 2 together? So German does mean Khazar, all right? It's not Deutsch. German doesn't mean Deutsch. It's a whole nother word. And the germ, you hear the word germ. That's what they're waging on us now with so-called germ warfare, right? But the germ of the many, is so a way you can say it. There's another. Anyway, I don't want to get diverted here. So not a shot had been fired on German soil. Not one enemy soldier had crossed the border into Germany. And yet Germany was offering England peace terms. They offered England a negotiated peace on what the lawyers call a status quo ante basis. That means let's call the war off and let everything be as it was before the war started. England in the summer of 1916 was considering that seriously. They had no choice. It was either accepting this negotiated peace that Germany was magnanimously offering them, thank you very much, or going on with the war and being totally defeated. What's the choice? While that was going on, the Zionists, there you go, the German Zionists, who represented the Zionists from Eastern Europe, went to the British War Cabinet, and I'm going to be brief because it's a long story, but I have all the documents to prove any statement that I make. They said, look here, that's the Jews, look here, you can yet win this war. You don't have to give up. Remember, they fund all the wars, right? You don't have to give up. You don't have to accept the negotiated peace offered to you now by Germany. You can win this war if the United States, their puppet, United States, their founding, their creation, right? Their United States, if they will come in as your ally. The United States was not only in the war at that time, was not in the war at that time. We were fresh, we were young, we were rich, we were powerful, we were brainwashed. They told England, we will guarantee to bring the United States, that's the Jews, we will guarantee to bring the United States into the war as your ally to fight you on your side if you will promise us, Palace, there we go, quid pro quo, if you will promise us Palestine after you win the war. In other words, they made this deal. We will get the United States into this war as your ally. Does that sound like a legitimate war to you, ladies and gentlemen? The price you must pay is Palestine after you have won the war and defeated Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Turkey. Now, England had as much right to promise Palestine to anybody as the United States would have to promise Japan to Ireland for any reason whatsoever. It's absolutely absurd that Great Britain, well, remember, it's the Vatican front, okay? And the Jews are under the Vatican, right? Okay. Nothing as it seems, ladies and gentlemen. It's absolutely absurd that Great Britain, that never had any connection or any interest or any right in what is known as Palestine, should offer it as coin to the realm to pay the Zionists for. And by the way, Zionist means world domination. Put that together as well. Oh, and when they have to buy the idea, it's also part evidence that they are not Israel. Get the picture? That and so that let me try this again. It is absolutely absurd that Great Britain, that never had any connection or any interest or any right in what is known as Palestine, should offer it as coin of the realm to pay the Zionists, can you say Bolsheviks as well, for bringing the United States into the war. However, they did make that promise in October of 1916. And shortly after that, I don't know how many here remember it, the United States, which was almost totally pro-German, entered the war as Britain's ally, anti-German, therefore, which is not a bad deal when you think about it, but because they're not Deutschland, they are Khazars. I say that the United States was almost totally pro-German because the newspapers were controlled by here. Okay, but let me try this again. I say that the United States was almost totally pro-German because the newspapers here were controlled by the Jews. The bankers were Jews. All the media of mass communications in this country were and still are controlled by the Jews. And they, the Jews, are pro-German because the Germans are in reference to the underworld Aryan Jews. Don't forget the first mafia in America in the 1800s were called the Young Turks, and they were all Jews. The mafia are Jews, with just a few exceptions. They were pro-German because many of them had come from Germany, and also they wanted to see Germany lick the Tsar. The Jews didn't like the Tsar. No, it wasn't about that. It was because the Tsar wouldn't play banking. The Tsar wanted nothing to do with the bank, so the Jews had to take him out. And they didn't want Russia to win this war. These German Jew bankers, there you go, German Jew bankers, like Ken Loeb and the other big banking firms in the United States, like Chase Manhattan and the Bush family, refused to finance France or England to the extent of $1. They stood aside and they said, as long as France and England are tied up with Russia, not 1 cent. But they poured money into Germany. They fought beside Germany against Russia, trying to lick the Tsarist regime. Now, those same Jews, when they saw the possibility of getting Palestine, went to England and they made this deal. At that time, everything changed, like a traffic light that changed from red to green, where the newspaper had been all pro-German, where they'd been telling the people of the difficulties that Germany was having at fighting Great Britain commercially and in other respects. All of a sudden, the Germans were no good. They were villains. They were Huns. Well, that's Khazar. They were shooting Red Cross nurses. They were cutting off babies' hands. Sounds like the story in Kuwait where they took the incubators away from babies, right? Another one of those false narratives. Anything that would sway the people against the Germans, right? They were no good, or against Deutschland, excuse me. Shortly after that, Mr. Wilson declared war on Germany. The Zionists in London had sent cables to the United States to Justice Brandeis saying, go to work on President Wilson. We're getting from England what we want. Now you go to work on President Wilson and get the United States into that war. That's how the United States got into the war. We had no more interest in it. We had no more right to be in it than we had to be on the moon tonight instead of in this room. We never got to the moon anyway, did we? There was absolutely no reason for World War I to be our war. We were railroaded into, if I can be vulgar, we were suckered into that war merely so that the Zionists of the world could obtain Palestine. So all the American soldiers who died in World War I were suckers of the Jews. That is something that the people of the United States have never been told, and they never knew why we went into World War I. And I'll leave it right there on that point. And you may have heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen, because it's not what they're going to teach us in the fool school, the shul of the fool. Okay, and so, all right, that's that. And now I want to cover a couple words, and then we'll go to another break, and then I'll go to the read. And I've got I always end up taking too many notes while I'm doing my own studies, ladies and gentlemen. But, you know, I like to cover a lot of ground in different areas of symbolism and words and history, and then of course our shultres, our scriptures, because there's you know, when you can have like a smorgasbord of different elements, you know, it's all relative, it's all connected, and so we have to hear these different aspects. So it's an all-around workshop, you might say, because I've always diversified in my studies. You know, like the King James Thumper, he says, well, you can't read anything else, you know, just anything else. You know, you can't read mythology, you can't do yoga, you can't you know, they've gotten so narrow that all of a sudden, you know, anything you do is evil, you know, evil. And of course, anything outside of another ancient tradition, you know, has to be evil as well. You know, they don't know the story of Buddha, that Buddha was just like Yahshuah, you know, but then Hinduism took Buddhism over, the philosophy that Buddha had. He gave away all of his wealth. He did exactly what Yahshua did, gave away all of his wealth, and then just fasted and prayed and told people to follow the one. You know, Zarathustra, the same thing in Persia. Then Persia became corrupted, and that's part of the story about what I'm going to be reading in the Silk Road. But I'll read that probably when we go to the Cosmic Essence in a day or so, because I'm just going to read the last verse. Well, wait a minute. I did read. I read the last verse in it. That's right, I did. All right. I did? Let me double check. I'm sure I did. Yeah. Okay, I did. Okay. I'm on the aluminum, ladies and gentlemen. And so Josh, and okay, well, good, Kev. You hang in there, and we're going to keep hearing more stuff we've not heard before. Even I hear some new stuff every now and then. And Josh says, do I did it wait? That sounds like a song. Do I did it wait? What? Do I did it wait? Do I did it wait? Okay. Leave off do. Why did it wait till the end of World War II for Israel? Well, you see, because nothing happens overnight, right? It's like a little, you know, it's going somewhere, and they're never in a hurry, Josh. They're never in a hurry, you know. It's part of their game. Like they knew for 50 years they were going to take down the World Trade Center. They knew for 50 years that 2020 they were going to, then we would have perfect vision, and that's when they would pull their little tricks on us, right? Okay. Well, you know, you're right. It started with the League of Nations, and then it was the UN. The UN was the tool. It was the Trojan horse tool to finalize that deal. Britain was occupying Palestine in the time of World War I, and then the British move out. The Khazarians move in, and they call themselves Israel. Oh, presto magico! We're the real Israel. When did that happen? You know, how did that happen? Well, it's not true. None of it's real. All right. So I'm going to go over a couple words real quick, and then we're going to probably take one more break, and we'll get back and we'll close out with the read on the final hours, unless somebody calls in. That phone is right there, just sitting there. And you know, you can give us some feedback on how the presentation's been working for you. So not do. So not do. I don't get that. All right. Ignorance. So ignorance means right on its face to ignore. And that's the essence of ignorance, to ignore what is right in front of us, what is an open secret, but people don't want to research. It's like, uh, please don't bore me with the facts. I just want the fiction. I love that fiction, that dogma. Don't give me the facts. I can't handle the truth, because then I might have to do something. I may have to wake up. I don't want to wake up. I love being under the spell, All right. So that's one. And then get back right on the program the other day. We defined, and it just manifested that after all those years, because I was saying, the word for scripture is shultre, right? Shultre. And I just saw when I was preparing the card tonight with another note, I really saw I didn't really analyze the word shultre, the two-part word, and so I'll get right to it. But first of all, scripture, is skip true. And you can see the last word is true. You reverse the U and the R, and there's the anagram for true. So script true, but it means skip what is true. That's the code, the Zionist pig code, okay, that they fed us. Or it means true script, true skip, but skip, skip is like the boat, it's going over the waves, it's skipping. That's the first word for ship, was skip. And so scripture is skip true, and it means to skip what is true, or skip truth. Skip truth. There it is. That's it. Skip truth. Truth. T-R-U-T-H. Skip truth. So you see how it's a code, just like bless you is blast you. Oh, bless you, my son. Blast you, my son. You see? And so when we get back to the word shultre, as the original word for scriptures, remember, shultre means, we find it in the word sutures in the medical, because it means to tie everything together. The shultres tie everything together, not the scriptures. They are the skip of truth, skipping truth, just like go spell is gospel. You see how they're playing the game on us, ladies and gentlemen? They're laughing at us because we accept what they give us and we never question it. We don't even know how to question it. In fact, the old political axiom is they don't care what the answers are as long as you're asking the wrong questions. So you got to know how to ask the right questions. Like, okay, am I being lied to here? Oh, who's doing the lying? What dictionary is telling the truth, or are they all lying? But you got to know how to pull it all together. So shultre literally means, listen to this, shul. As you go to school, school is the corruption. The German corrupted it, put the C in front of the S, and shul became school, but it's really shul, and it means knowledge. That's where Yahshuah is more correctly Yahshul, Yahshulva, and more correctly Yahshulamva, but we say Yahshuah because we don't want to take it too extreme and lose people. So we find the middle ground from Joshua to Yahshulamva. In the middle is Yahshuah. So I do Yahshuah, but when I pray, when I create light, I refer to him as Yahshulamva. Yahshulamva means the knowledge of the serpent that goes round. That means the knowledge of everything. But literally in the word shultre, tre means tree. And three, the knowledge of the tree, knowledge of the three. Literally shultre means the tree of knowledge. Okay? So there it is, the book, which is not Bible, but correctly shulfar. Now it means the knowledge from afar because it's in a book. And they knew if they saw a book, it must have come from far away, right? From afar, like, from the sun even, or from the further east. But you see, it's in the word. It's not Bible. That's the covering of the L, bib, the bib of the L, bibble, and Babel. Oh, Babel, yeah, Babel, blah, 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 blah. And but shultre is the tree of knowledge, and shulfar, which is also the ram's horn, means the knowledge from afar because they heard the ram's horn from far away. And it also means scribe. The original word for scribe is shulfar because he's the one who writes it down and it travels. It's also fire from far. Okay, so that's talking about scriptures. You don't want scriptures, you want shulfar. Soul fire, another way to say it, is soul fire, right? It lights you up, gets you on the journey, gets you going. Because if we didn't have the record, we would be in total darkness. But the light is shining, and we need to nurture that light and keep the fire going in our own hearts. Okay, and so I continually think about my my friends that are lost in Washington land, sort of like Disneyland, but it's Washington land, and I try to think of how to define it properly so that they could get the picture. And so Washington D.C., get it. And the United States of America, if it ever was ours, was declared bankrupt in 1933, circa 1933, a la Jekyll Island in 1913, and the Banking Act and all that. So officially bankrupt means it was dissolved. It officially, on paper, no longer existed. The United States of America, and okay. So they just told the politicians, you come on back, you play the political game. We have the media, so we'll make you look legitimate, and we got Hollywood, and we'll make movies about you, and we'll make everything look real and legitimate, and nobody will know anything, and it'll just be a stage, okay? So what Washington is, funded by the Jewish Federal Reserve Bank, the Jews, as we saw our expert, our Mr. Friedman, from 1954, facts are facts. He just spelled it all out that we were under control a long time ago, 70 years ago, full control by the Jews. And so what is it? What's the one definition that works? And I wrote it down today because I think this is it. What Washington, D.C. is, with all the governorships in all the other states, it is a staged government. Okay? That's what it is. It's a staged government. Now put that together, okay? And that's the way you can spell it, to anybody. The real government is behind the staged government. The real government. That's the one flying the aerosol spraying in our skies. That's the one want to give us the jab, right? They're beyond the stage. They're behind the stage, and so they're beyond the phony bankruptcy government, because it's not real. And the Jews own the Federal Reserve Bank. They own the feds, the FBA, what I'm talking about. And just an unregistered foreign agent in America, but it's working for the Federal Reserve Bank. And so behind it is the black ops, the black budget. And they're playing all the dirty tricks. They run the CI, who, okay, yeah, for the Vatican. And so it's all a front, ladies and gentlemen. There is nothing real. And you got these people talking about, man, we got to get Trump back in. We got to save our America. Red, white, and blue. Okay, let's see. Red, white, and blue. We got the French flag is red, white, and blue. The British flag is red, white, and blue. The Russian flag is red, white, and blue. And the American flag is red, white, and we're all black and blue. So you tell me, ladies and gentlemen. And there's some more red, white, and blue out there, I'm sure. But like the flag in Malaysia, the flag in Singapore. Last I looked, one of them actually looks just like the American flag, and it's really the Dutch Royal British East India Trading Company slave flag. And nobody ever opens up the almanac to look. All right, so Kev says, write that name, please, Desert. Yahshuah, full name. Okay, so we got Joshua. Then we got Yahshuah. Joshua doesn't have an H on it, I guess. So, okay. And it should, but not on the abbreviation word. Okay, then y'all. Okay, let me put that up. Oh, geez. Okay. And then y'all, let me try this again. Okay, hold back on typing right now. Take your little Tunker truck out there. What's that truck doing in there, Ninja? Never mind. It's okay. So copy.
It's a
She's
flag.
playing with trucks now.
It's a flag.
It's a flag. It looks like a truck to me.
The Australian flag. It came up as the letters AU on the computer chat. It didn't even make a picture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. I'm going to do some typing right now, so everybody hold back.
Okay.
Control copy. Boom. Control V. Boom. One more. So hang in there, please. YAHLLSHOOLANVAT. Okay, it didn't fit. Okay, YoChelleG. Okay, so Joshua more correctly is Yahshuah, and Yahshua more correctly is YoChelleG. So Yal means that which goes round. What's going round? Shul, the knowledge. And there we see SH, and then the owl is right in there, right? And then the AN is the one. So it's the knowledge of the one serpent. VAT is serpent. You see it in front of Vatican. Vat is serpent, and Tav, T-A-V, backwards is at the end. At the end, the serpent is crushed. But YoChelleG means the knowledge of the one serpent that goes around. What is the one serpent? It is the serpent of light, because everything came out of the light. It is a serpent creation. The primary serpent is the sun. It is that's why the Pharaoh wore the serpent on his headdress. It was called the Cobra, and Cobra, Ko means co, and we know about that, and bra means support. So it's my co-support. The light is our co-support. Okay, so I hope that answered your question. And Josh is saying, do you think with your brain or heart? The heart has more powerful than the brain. Well, yeah, there's like a debate that goes on about that, Josh. But the brain is a processor. That's where we do battle. That's our battleground. But we're supposed to feel with our heart, right? We reason with our mind, but we have to feel with our heart, because in our center, we can know the right thing to do. The mind is always wanting to play tricks on us. So yeah, it's another center. We got three centers. We got the mind or the brain, and coupled with our consciousness, but connected with our heart. And the heart is another center. The head is a center. The heart is a center, and then the lower region, the sexual center. So there's three centers, and you notice each one is working its way up. But actually, one's coming down, one's going up, and they meet in the middle at the heart. And there's the word ear. The word ear is in the word heart, and also if you put an H in front of earth, you get hearth, and so it's the word heart by just shifting one letter. Okay, and anyway, that's that. So let's continue on here with words. Shavors are words, and altar. Altar has a double meaning. And Walter, if you put a W on it, means control. So think about that when you think of now the word altar, because altar has a double meaning. We got a religious altar, and we have a mind altar. And so now they want to give us some mRNA injection, some mRNA treatment, not a VACCIN, you know what, in your arm, and it's not what we think it is. It is an mRNA injection. And so they want to alter us physically. So we've got religious altar, we got mind altar, and now we've got DNA altar. Okay? So the altar is in there. So look at the word, altar. It's not what we think it is, right? The priest is on the altar because the priesthood is running the world. Running the world. The bank works for them. You see, that's why they're so glittery with all their filthy richness, right? Okay, so another word that just came to me finally, because these words are abbreviated, and we're missing a piece, and it takes a lifetime sometimes to get the puzzle. But here's the word. I wonder if I covered. Yeah, I did. Okay, here's one more. I got about 3 words to go here, and we'll be done with it. GROUND, and let me do the typing here. Everything's been altered. That's correct. And this ground becomes the I know it's not going to all fit, so I'm going to do it one at a time. Here we go. Okay, ground is the go round. You see, 2 words. They compress them together. It's abbreviated, but it makes sense, right? It's the same as lantern. The lanterns. See, so now we got another witness. Another witness. The ancients are proving out they know the truth that the sun is fixed and it is the earth that is spinning. Sorry, flat earthers, but you can't use these words anymore, okay? Because they tell it like it is, and also, you can't have an atmosphere. You can't have an atmosphere because a sphere is round. So you got no atmosphere, you got no ground, and you got no lantern. Okay? Because the ancients knew the truth. The earth is spinning. It's spinning 1,000 miles an hour on a 24/7 clock. It is the giant clock. It's how we measure time. That's why right now it's freezing winter up here on the northern hemisphere, and it's blazing hot down there where Ninja is in the southern hemisphere. That's how the 24-hour day works. That's how the seasons work. It explains the currents of the ocean, the wind streams, everything, and the equatorial fix as well. It's all explained by a round Earth. So anyway, just wanted to show that the ground is go round, and that relates to another word. Where's that other word? Okay, let me look in here real quick. Okay, I don't know what happened to it, but okay, here's another one. Is relative to ground, but you see the word grace as we talk about these words being codes. Okay, see, let me type it in there. Isn't it interesting that the C has an S sound, right? Okay, look at that. You see the similarity? The C is an S in grace, right? So grace is grass. Okay, it's a code. And so what does it mean? We just did that the other day regarding grass. I found the etymology on it. GRAS means devour. So what happens? You put the goats and the sheep and the cattle all out into the pasture. They eat the grass. They devour the grass. So grass is not the name of the plant. It describes what they are doing. It is meant to be consumed, to be devoured. And so they changed the meaning of the word grace, which would be correctly, this is the real meaning of grace, okay? It's okay because the fix is in, don't worry about it. GRCE, it means the favor for all, okay? It's still a code, and it also means this. Two word, if G is a word because it means the gold of the sun, right? It is the G race, meaning the race of light. Okay, I spelled great race wrong. Sorry about that. But okay, so you see the challenges with deciphering the word because there are several variables in there that are speaking, and all of them may be relevant. I'd have to go pick up some dictionaries and go back because I'm doing this all off the top of my head. But there's an etymology that can be researched. But grass is correctly devour in the ancient. Okay, and so grace is identical to the word grass, and with one exception at the end because the C is an S, so it is GRAS, and GRAS by itself without the E is devour. You see, so that fits with gospel and blast you, and the other words that they gave to us that are corrupted. Oh, scriptures, right? Skip the truth. All of that. It's a game. They hate our guts, and they gave us pig Latin. Oh, pig Latin. Okay, the pig, right? Like that's where Jesus means you pig snout in the Indo-Germanic. Sus, S-U-S, is pig snout. J-E is correctly Y-E for ye, for you pig snout. Okay, and Christ is Krishna, but is also Christ is strict backwards. So it's just everything when you look at it of what they gave us. It's like it's as if you had a little baby, right? And you raise it and you teach him that the word hate is really love and the word love is really hate, right? And so they're going to say to you, I hate you. I hate you. And you're thinking, gee, why does he hate me? You know, but really he's saying, I love you, but you don't get it. You know, that's what they did to us. That is the game that has been played on our psyche, ladies and gentlemen. That's why people will die to support the Democratic illusion or the Republican illusion, because that's all they know. That's all they know. And they, you know, I remember when I was a truck, you know, the truck driver going over the road with United Truckers defending the Constitution. And so I was interviewing people, you know, on the law and Constitution and all this stuff. And then that's when I discovered that the Constitution was a rag, that it was a deceptive document, that it was not what it was made out to be. The Constitution was irrelevant, you know? Like if you want to talk about a constitutional attorney, that's about as much of an oxymoron as you can ever get, because they know the Constitution's irrelevant. In fact, it's an imperial decree that's really called, drop the N at the end and you get Constitutio. With the N, it means the Constitutio, the imperial decree that came down. What came down? Rome came down. The Rome. We've never left Rome. We still got the Roman birth certificate, slave document. Put your feet on the back of it and you're a slave forever. You know, your footprints. So what I discovered then, you know, during that process of interviewing people and going all over America doing interviews and you know, United Truckers defending the Constitution, then all of a sudden in the process I realized it was a dead horse. And you want to talk about the empty feeling all of a sudden, like, whoa, you mean the Constitution's a fraud? And it was like, you know, and I had to wrap my mind around that when we were fighting to, you know, quote unquote, save America and throw the bums out and get good guys in there and then go back to our lives, you know. But then I learned the rest of the truth. And so it was like all of a sudden I had nothing to stand on. But then I realized, wait a minute, what I have to stand on is my spirituality. I'm not of this world. And that's when really the separation became clear, that this whole world is a fraud and an illusion, and you don't want to be a part of it. And that's where, when I'm laying on a concrete slab facing the trial of my life, being railroaded by Freemasons and pirates, you know, that's when the quote became clear to me. I knew it a decade earlier, but had to have it learn it by experience. You know, that it said that, do you wish to save the world from all of the degradation and destruction that it seems destined for? Well, if you do, then you must quietly begin to go to work upon your own self-awareness. Okay? Because the first one we have to save is ourself. And then if we can save ourself through the process that Yahshuah and the Great Father has given us, they gave us a book and a bunch of books and the truth and an offer. And then if we can save ourselves, then maybe we can save one or two other people. But you can't save the world. The government's not yours. They hate your guts. They're coming for you. And you got nothing to stand on if you don't have the truth about who you are, where you are, when you are, and why you are, ladies and gentlemen. And one more in your face, you know, whenever we see the lexicons, like the Jacinius lexicon, they say, you know, on the cover, it's the Chaldee and the Hebrew, or just like this other New Englishman's Hebrew and Chaldee concordance. I got a concordance. They always add Hebrew and Chaldee. Why? Because Chaldee is Babylon. They're telling you right in your face, an open secret. They are Babylonian. The Judeans, not Jews, that came back from Babylon, brought back the Babylonian Talmud. That's why they killed the Messiah, the Moshiach. That's why they murdered him, nailed him, tortured him, stoned him, all of those things, kicked him down, because they wanted nothing to do with it. They were in commerce, making money, and on a power trip, and they were not Israel. Israel was gone in 730 or 722 BC, ladies and gentlemen. So Chaldee is Babylon. They tell you, you don't get it. Even Jacinius lexicon. Lexicon means the law of the con. Lex for law, Latin. Lexa for the I, the A is the I, con. They put the con on you, and they're laughing all the way to their Jewish banks, ladies and gentlemen. And So we're going to go to one more break, and when we get back, we're going to read a little. I can't get over where we've made it this far, and now we're going to go to part 3, and we're going to do the read on the final hours. I think I can do about 3 more chapters, then we'll finish the rest of it tomorrow if the great Father of Light is willing. And we thank him for miracles. We thank him for the light that shines every day. It never gets tired, never goes to sleep. And that's the power, the force that we can have within us, ladies and gentlemen, and not be affected by what's out there. It's a great mystery, and we have to wake up to it, and we have to pull it together. We have little time, so I hope you can get it. And you're tuned in right here to Ask Desert Owl on the Forbidden History series. And we're going to a break. When we get back, we'll play it again one more time. Okay, so Ninja, play that song, please.
Okay, welcome back. You're listening to Us Desert-Owl with NinjaCat. And you heard it here first. I'm wowing with the rest of you. It's just amazing. And on the screen, the channels that we recommend. The information on these channels, they're really good at what they do. They have dedicated their lives to doing this research, and it will help you sift through the lies to get to the truth, to the light that Desert is revealing here on this program, with the help of the Father, Yahshuah. Okay, I've just lost my page again. This is new. This is a new glitch. Okay.
Keep rolling.
Okay, I will fix it in a second. It comes back when I refresh. It's just annoying. Okay, I think I've said it all. You're welcome to call in. You're still welcome to call in. We have the read coming up, but Desert is happy to answer any questions and have a chat with you. The phone number is in the chat, but I'll say it here, it's 608 566 7295. That's 608 566 7295, or you can Skype NinjaCat, all one word. It's a white circle with the purple NinjaCat with the sword, and any first time caller will receive a free gift of Desert's transliteration of the Handbook of Christianity. It's a beautiful book. And back to you, Desert.
Thank you. And to follow up with Josh right there, because he was asking about what language or diction, or what tongue does the great ones speak, light, math, all. And he is. Math is the fundamental communication that built the entire universe, but then the voice that we speak is the extension of all these things. And so then wouldn't the intent of what is being said, well, okay, the intent is crucial. Certainly it's crucial, because if we have ill intent, then we're in the darkness. But if we have a pure heart, then that's everything. So be more important than what is said. Well, what is said is also important, but the good news is that even when we're in the lower echelon, just like I was back when I was in my early 20s, 45 years ago, and I was using the words Jesus or bless you or grace and all these code words that they handed to us that we didn't really know what they meant. The Father is so great. He knows the game that's been played on us. So he looked at the heart. Sure, the heart and the intent is what carried me, even though I was being tricked. But then because I followed, he then opened up their game to me. And so then when I discovered original words, I didn't want to go back to the corrupt ones. And so we have to move forward. It fits within the scriptures of Revelation, where it says, and I will give them a name, a new name that nobody else is naming. You see, those are the original words, talking about the Yahweh, the original name, not Lord or, God, or, these terminologies that covered the original names, but Yahweh, and then also Yahshuah, the Aramaic, not what they claimed was the Greek, but was really Indo-Germanic and means you pigs now. Oh, those Khazarian Jews are really laughing about that one, But of course, since I read dictionaries and I have several Indo-Germanic dictionaries, I was able to find it, the game that has been played, just like they're in the Indo-Germanic, and their name Jew goes back to Iwis. I'd have to go pull off the book, but it's Yewis or Yewis with the Y, because there was no J and it was a Y, and it means the law. So they're claiming to be the law, or the lawmakers. Isn't that what the attorneys call themselves, lawmakers? Oh, let me see. I thought there was a natural law and a common law, and natural law and common law has no legislation. You can't make common law. You can't make natural law. You have to live by it. You see? What is common to all of us? You shall not hurt anybody else, or you break the common law, and then you're guilty of a crime. And but instead, they are lawmakers, and what do? They made millions of laws, state, county, federal, right, national. All these laws, codes, rules, and regulations. Nobody could ever begin to read them all. Oh, but ignorance of the law is no excuse. You know. So anyway, you're right, Josh, in principle. But the point is that we're to go on to perfection, and completeness. In fact, I just corrected that scripture today because I saw that's the problem when you go into the modern. You see, because we're leaving behind original thought. And so in our shultres, not scriptures, in our shultres at the end of Matthew, who is really Mathu Shalah. Mathu Shalah, math means truth. Shalat means the healing root. Oh, at the end of time comes the healing root. Yeah, Yahshuah, he's the root. But so when he said at the end of Matthew 5:48, therefore become perfect, just as your Father in heaven is perfect, it's really, there has to be added one more word because it's a complete thought. What is the element of being perfect is being complete. You see? So we have to hyphenate it, and it needs to say, therefore become perfect and complete, because your Father who rules from his throne in the Son is perfect and complete. Now, doesn't that make sense? You see? Because he's trying to he comes down to our level through Yahshuah, the Son, S-O-N, but synonymous with S-U-N, and he comes down to our level so that he could bring us up to his level. You see? He's willing to come down here so that we can go up there. And then Josh is saying, I learned as a dreaded telemarketer, I dreaded telemarketers, that body language is over 75% of the message. Thinking on your kid saying, I hate you, his intent would be that of love. I speak to my animals and plants in my tongue. Sure, they respond too. Sure, they don't understand me, but do my intent. That's a very good point, Josh. You could actually be saying I hate you, if but if you were not sincere and just playing a game with them, you know what I'm saying, that the confusion rules. But I get they don't, but they learn the sound. See, the point is they learn the sound. I actually got my dog to say I love you. You know how we saw that on television, somebody did it, and I did it with my dog. I said, his name was Ega. I said, Ega, say, come on, I love you. I love you. And he really was focused. I could teach his dog tricks. I had a dozen tricks he could do. I saved his life. He was a really special dog. I said, Ega, say, I love you. I love you. Say, I love you. And he's just started doing it. He goes, I love you. I love you. And so, but anyway, so we get their attention, but they learn our sounds. And the shorter we make the sounds, the easier it is for them to get it. Because the multiple syllabic words, is harder for them to get. But when we use short words, dogs pick it up easier. And so anyway, but the connection is certainly important. But they also learn sign language. So they actually respond better to sign language visually than they do to the spoken word. So whenever you speak to them, to use the sign at the same time reinforces the command, So these are things I learned from having dogs. Okay, but anyway, let's get on with the read if there's no more. And Cosmic is saying law and lore. No, I don't get it, Ninja. Law is not the same as lore. It means the true ray. Lore means the true ray. It's a story. So lore is like an ancient story. So it's the true Ray, Lo for true, and but also lorry is a conveyance. It's like a wagon, so or a truck. We see it today in the truck. They call them lorries, and so again, it's the true Ray. Why? Because it's going down the highway, the true way, the true light, pew, going down the road. Okay, so there's lorry, and then it's a woman's name at the same time. Uh, okay, so let me break out the book, and we're winding it down now. You know what? With what we talked about, I just wanted to see something real quick in the other document. I'm gonna. Oh, geez. I better not. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll go into this what I'm translating tomorrow because I don't want to take away from today, and because it's really great. I'm really having an experience in this lost gospel of the Silk Road. You know, I'm overwhelmed. I've read it several times, but until you do it, and it's like, you're having like you're reading it for the first time and having a real experience. I can't tell you. So I'm opening up the dictionaries. I'm just having a dictionary party over here. I'm excited about the discovery, realizing that I'm taking what are bad translations, not perfect. We can just say not perfect, but problems. They have problems, and taking it to the next level, making it literally the most important translation of modern times. So I'm going to read just one chapter because it's getting late, and then we'll pick it up tomorrow. Okay, so we're on chapter 33, and Yahshuah, he just rose from the grave. He visited his friends, and they went back to Jerusalem and told everybody. So now we're in chapter 33, and Apollo, with the Silent Brotherhood of Greece, was sitting, and so Yahshuah had visited the sages in Persia and in India, Ravana, Manxte, and all these others, and now he's going to go to Greece and meet Apollo. He was a friend of Apollo and had met him, previously on his voyage. Apollo, by the way, is mentioned in our New Testament. Let me get a sip here. And people have been given such spoon-fed a false narrative. They can't appreciate the true story that happened back then. Apollo with the Silent Brotherhood of Greece was sitting in a Delphian grove where the oracle had spoken loud and long. The priests were in the sanctuary, and as they looked, the oracle became a blaze of light. It seemed to be on fire and all consumed. The priests were filled with fear. They breathed, "A great disaster has come. Our gods are mad. They have destroyed our oracle." But when the flames had spent themselves, and Ashan stands on the Orak pedestal and breathes, the Yahweh speaks to Ashan, not by an oracle of wood and gold, but by the voice of an Ashan, the voice of a man. The gods have spoken to the Greeks and the related tongues through images made by Ashan. But the Yahweh, the One, now speaks to Ashan through the Mudjekeewis, the Messiah, the only Son and pure seed, who was and is and evermore will be. This oracle will fail, but the living oracle of the Yahweh, the One, will never fail. Apollo knew the Ashan who spoke. He knew it was the Nazaré who once had plowed and planted seed, the wise Ashan in the Acropolis, and had rebuked the idol worshippers upon the Athens beach. Then in an instant, Yahshuah stood right before Apollo and the Silent Brotherhood and breathes. You must see and read it for yourself. For I have risen from the dead with a precious gift for all Ashan. I present for you the royal title of your vast estate. All power in the sun, earth, and moon are mine. For you I offer all of this power in the sun, earth, moon, and all of the stars. Go out and seed plant within all the nations of the earth the star message of the enlightenment, of the resurrection from the dead, and of the eternal life through the Mudjekeewis, the Messiah, the love of the Yahweh revealed for all Ashan. And then he clasped Apollo's hand and breathes. My earthly flesh has changed to the higher form by travain, love, and I can manifest in the flesh or in the higher planes of life at will. What I can do, all a Shan can do and must do. Go proclaim the star message of the enlightenment, of the omnipotence, the superior nature of all a Shan. Then Yahshuah disappeared. But Greece and Crete and all of the nations heard about this. Claudius and Juliet, his wife, lived on the Palatine in Rome, and they were the servants of Tiberius, but they had been in Galilee. They had walked with Yahshuah by the sea and heard his Eshavor words and seen his great power, and they could follow that he is the Mudjekeewis, the Messiah revealed. Now Claudius and his wife were on the Tabor in a little boat when a storm swept up from the sea. The boat was flooded, and Claudius with his wife were sinking down to their death. Then Yahshuah came and took them by the hand and breathes, Claudius and Juliet, rise up and walk with me upon the waves. And they rose up and walked with him upon the waves. 1,000 people saw, and the three walked on the waves together and saw them reach the land, and they were all astonished. And Yahshuah breathes, you, a Shan of Rome, I am the resurrection and the life, the Veta. And they that are dead must live, and many that will live will never experience the second death. By mouth of gods and demigods, the Yahweh spoke unto your fathers long ago, but now he speaks to you through the perfect Eshan. He sent his Zan, his son, the Mudjekeewis, in earthly flesh to save the world, just as I raised up from the watery grave and saved these Sharfans, these servants of Tiberius. In this way, the Mudjekeewis can raise up the son and daughters of the earthly race. Yes, every one of them from the darkness and from the grave of an earthly serpent to the light and everlasting life. I am the manifestation of love raised from the dead. Take a look at my hands, my feet, and my side, all of which serpent Eshan have pierced. Claudius and Juliet, whom I have saved from death, are my ambassadors to Rome. And they will point the way and proclaim the star message of the enlightenment, of the pure breath, and of the resurrection from this death. And that was all he breathes. But Rome and all of Italy heard it. The priests of Heliopolis were in their temple. That's in what we call Egypt today, in the Delta, right there in Avaris, where Joseph and his brothers all lived, in Medecine. The priests of Hierapolis, right next to the Gazar pyramid, were in their temple meeting to celebrate the resurrection of their brother, the Nazarene, and they all knew that he had risen from the dead. The Nazarene appeared and stood on a sacred pedestal on which no Eshan had ever stood. This was the honor that had been reserved for him who first would demonstrate the resurrection from the dead. And Yahshuah was the first of all the earthly race to demonstrate the resurrection from the death. When Yahshuah stood upon the sacred pedestal, the mother stars all stood up and breathed. Everyone rise and be healed by the light. The great bells of the temple all rang, and all of the temple was blazing with the great light. And Yahshuah breathes, all honor for the mother stars, masters of this temple, the empire of the sun. In flesh of Eshan, there is the essence of the resurrection from death. This essence, quickened by the pure breath, that's Holy Spirit, will rise the substance of the body to the higher vibration and make it like the substance of the bodies of the higher planes above, which earthly eyes cannot see nor look upon. Theirs is a pure ministry in death. The essence of the Buddha cannot be made alive by the pure breath until the repair is solved. The Buddha must disintegrate, and this is from a second metaphysical death. And then, upon these pliant substances, the Yahweh breathes, just as he breathed upon the chaos of the deep when the worlds are formed. And life springs up from death. The serpent form is changed into the Travain nature, the divine nature. The pure will of the Eshan makes it possible, the positive action of the pure breath. When the will of Eshan and the will of the Yahweh are all one, the resurrection is then revealed as a fact. In this, we have the chemistry of mortal life, the ministry of death, and the ministry of the triafic, deific, veta life, deific. The tre effect of the three in one. My earthly life was wholly given to bring my will in tune with the deific, treific will. When this was done, my earth tasks were all complete. There's that word, completed again. And you, my brothers, know full well the enemies I had to meet. You also know about my victories in Gethsemane, my trials in the courts of Eshan, and my death upon the cross, the curse. You know that all my life was one great drama for the seed of the moon, establishing a pattern for the seed of the sun. I lived to reveal the endless potential for Eshan, for all Eshan are eligible. What I have done, all Eshan can and must do. In what I am, all Eshan must be. The mother stars looked. The form upon the sacred pedestal had vanished. But every temple priest and every living creature breathed, rise up in the creation of the Yahweh. And tomorrow we'll read chapter 34 by the will of the Father. And thank you, Father, for a perfect program tonight with no disruptions. And that is a miracle right there, ladies and gentlemen, because we've tried to find another system, but hadn't found it yet. But anyway, that's the grace of the Father tonight. Oh, grace, I used that bad word, but you know the better meaning of it for the favor for all, not grass devouring for grace, but the favor for all, the true meaning of what we think of when we say grace. It's favor for all. And you know it's what they didn't want you to know that we tell right here. I'm Dezert-Owl, thanking you for tuning in. You just got the Forbidden History. Do tell your friends about the broadcast, and we plan on being back here tomorrow. Okay, we're going to do our best with all that's going against us, and hope you'll tell your friends about the broadcast, won't you? And love to hear from you on the side. And don't forget, Ninja, we're trying to raise funds for an air conditioner for her. And so any size donation would be welcome. It's $100. We're not halfway there yet, but we're working on it. And so do share, won't you? And thank you for all your good thoughts tonight in the comment section, and for all your questions. We need that. And just I'm out of here. That's all I can say. I don't know. I'm winded down. Okay, I'm spent, lost my voice, but I'm really grateful that I had the opportunity to share what's so important to me with all of you, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you. I better tomorrow. You did tell your friends? Bring them on.
Starry, starry night, paint your palette blue and gray. Look out on a summer's day, with eyes that know the darkness in my soul. Shadows on the hills, sketch the trees and the daffodils, catch the breeze and the winter chills in colors on the snowy linen land. Now I understand what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they'll listen now. Starry, starry night, flaming flowers that brightly blaze, swirling clouds in violet haze, reflect in Vincent's eyes of china blue, colors changing hue. Morning fields of amber grain, weathered faces lined in pain, are soothed beneath the artist's loving hand. Now I understand what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they'll listen now, for they could not love you, but still your love was true. And when no hope was left inside on that starry, starry night, you took your life as lovers often do. But I could have told you, Vincent, this world was never meant for one as beautiful as you. Starry, starry night, portraits hung in empty halls, frameless heads on nameless walls, with eyes that watch the world and can't forget, like the strangers that you've met, the ragged men in ragged clothes, a silver thorn, a bloody rose, lie crushed and broken on the virgin snow. Now I think I know what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they're not listening still. Perhaps they never